Okay, I just started this Twitter account. As you can see, I have no followers yet. I am going to show you the activities that I'm going to be doing to grow this account. I've done this on several other accounts and taken them from 0 followers up to 5, 10,000 followers in less than a year or within 6 months or whatnot, depending on how actively I do these activities. So as you can see, when you start a Twitter account, you're going to want to make sure that you've got images for both of your profile pictures. You'll also want to make sure that you've got a little bio about yourself. And before I even did these images, I made sure to send out a tweet because you also want to show up as active on Twitter. So when you start a Twitter account, you're going to want to do a couple of things to make sure that this account grows. The first thing you're going to want to do is to try to follow about 100 people per day. You can actually follow more than 100 a day. I've known some people who maybe go in and try to follow several hundred, but Twitter has kind of a formula and it averages to about 100, maybe 150 people a day. That allowable amount that they'll let you follow does change as your account grows bigger. So a brand new account, if you go in and you follow like 300 people on the first day, and then you go in the next day and you follow another 300 or 400 people, and you do that several days in a row, Twitter will actually penalize you and keep you from following people for either a couple of days. I've seen it be up to a week. I've heard about it being even longer than that. So if you stick to about 100 a day, then that'll be easier and that'll keep you from getting penalized on Twitter. I've never actually had an account get a big penalty. I had one time on one of my accounts I got a penalty for like 3 days, and then I didn't ever do too many to get penalized again. But I have heard that they get more and more drastic in their penalties, and I would imagine that it could affect your account showing up or negatively affect whether or not it gets suggested for new followers to follow you. So if you stick to 100 people a day or so, if you're not doing it on the weekend or you're not doing it every day, that is sort of an average per day. So I have also gone in and followed like 500 people one day and then not touched it for several days and been just fine. As you can see, I started this account just in the last hour, and I have just followed 147 people. So I have gone a little bit over the 100, but I also don't imagine that I'll probably be completely active on this every day. So that gives you kind of a good idea. Now, there's a couple of things to be aware of when you are starting and trying to grow a Twitter account. The first thing that you want to be aware of is that Twitter does care what your ratio of followers to following is. If we look at this account, this is actually just someone who followed another one of my Twitter accounts that I manage. This person only has 97 followers, but they are following 1,800 people. That's not considered good in the Twitter world. They like to see a little more even ratio. It's even better when you can get a lot more followers than you're following. This is an extreme on the other side, which is Michael Jordan's account. He has 429,000 followers, but he's only following 4 to 6 people. So that shows that a lot of people care about what he's tweeting, and he really doesn't care about what that many other people are tweeting. So somewhere in the middle is a little bit better ratio and a more realistic ratio for most companies. If a regular company that has grown to several thousand followers goes in and suddenly unfollows all of their followers, and people see that they aren't following them back, for most companies that number would then drastically drop. Here's an example of probably what a more realistic ratio would be. This fitness girl has about 22,000 followers, and she's following about 20,000 back. That's a good ratio of followers to following. Ideally, in a situation, you want to have the following be not that much more than the followers, or to be a little bit less or a lot less. As you kind of get people over time, that want to follow your business, but they don't want you to follow them back. This is an example of another Twitter account that I manage, and you'll notice that we've got about 6,900 followers here with about 6,800 that the company is following. And that's a good ratio to be a little bit under. This gives leeway for this account to be able to continue to add followers every day without necessarily going above however many are following them. And I'll show you how to do that in this tutorial. The first thing that you want to do when you are starting a new Twitter account or trying to grow an existing Twitter account is to search for phrases, hashtags, or keywords that are relevant to your business or your product, and look for the accounts that are talking about those keywords. You may have accounts that are actually named those keywords, such as brands or manufacturers or clothing stores that maybe sell. You might find like Children's Boutique might be the name of an actual Twitter account. I don't know if it is, but it could be. But you may also find, or you should also find, hashtags that are relevant to your business as well. Once you search for these phrases or keywords, and you can do it both ways, you're going to want to start following accounts that are interested in these topics. For this account, as you can see, I'm targeting people who would be interested in human resources or payroll, accounting, employers, businesses, anybody who's looking or wanting to talk about employment law, human resource technology, software, things like that that make running a business or managing employees easier. So if I was going to search a particular topic, I might look for the term employment law. When I search for that term, I'm going to find specifically anytime someone uses that word, like I do in this one, I might find an account that incorporates the word employment law, and I can choose to go follow those accounts. And I'll basically find anything from tweets to accounts to descriptions that include employment law. Now, if I wanted to search the same phrase as an actual hashtag, I would want to make it all one word and add the hashtag. And in that case, I'm only going to see accounts that actually use the hashtag employment law. So if I wanted to come in and follow this account, you'll notice this is also a very new account. I can just highlight it and come and follow it. And Twitter will also always recommend additional accounts that I can come in and follow. So if I were to scroll down and see this one, this guy is interested in employment law as well, I can just highlight his name and then follow that. Another thing you can do is go in and find the accounts that are talking about these keywords or the focus on these different topics, and you can follow their followers. So for example, on this employment law news, we already followed them, but I can actually click on them and go take a look. They have 18,000 followers. You'll notice they've got a great ratio. They're only following about 2,000. And then I can come down here and follow their followers. So I can come in and follow some of their most recent followers, because these are people, and you can tell by some of the names, these are other individuals or companies that are interested and that employment law is very relevant to. And since employment law will be one of the things that this new account will be posting about, we want people who are interested in those topics. As you start growing your account and you get people following you back, you will start getting new people following you that you haven't already followed first. So as you do that, you want to follow back everyone who has followed you, especially as a business. Personal accounts can be obviously a lot more picky. I would like to put a caveat on following everyone back that follows you. I do not follow anything that is vulgar for business accounts. So no nudity, no sexual content, extremely gross things, that kind of thing. I would not follow them back. Who you are following as a business will reflect upon your business. So if you're following a lot of just really crude, gross things, that is going to affect to a degree what the reputation that your business has on Twitter. That is going to affect that. This is another account that I manage, but I need to show it so you can see what I do when you start getting followers. So you just go into the followers and you want to just follow anybody who is following you that you haven't followed first. You can tell that if you're following that person, their the follow unfollow shows you following, and it's blue. One quick activity that you should do once you start getting new followers is you should go in and follow the most recent 10 followers of your most recent 10 followers. Twitter organizes these followers in chronological order. So the most recent person to follow this account is this person. So you would go through each of these accounts, basically just click on the account, go to their followers, and go in and just follow their last 10. The reason for doing, now you can decide if you actually want to skip these accounts that seem to be new accounts and don't have much going on. But I would go in, I usually don't, anyone without at least a picture and often a description, I usually don't follow them back until they get a little bit more. So you can go in and just follow your last 10 people, easily just click the back button. You want to click it twice and then go to your next follower. You will notice that I do follow back people who have actively followed me. I just don't go seek out and follow people who aren't following me if they don't have profile information filled out. So another way you could do this is you could right click and just tell all of these people to open in a new link, and then go to each of those tabs and check out their followers and follow. So if you do 10 of your recent followers and follow 10 of their most recent people, then that helps you to grow your account. The reason you do the most recent followers is that it helps you to capture people who are more active on Twitter. So those that are actively following and unfollowing and checking Twitter are more likely to follow you back than older accounts that may not have tweeted or even gotten on for a while. Now, in order to maintain that even ratio of about the same followers as people you were following, you need to unfollow those that don't follow you back in a reasonable amount of time. There are several tools that you can use that'll help you to track and will go in and tell you who you're following that isn't following you back. Most of those tools, or nearly all of them, only allow you a certain number of unfollows per day for free, but you can sign up and pay more. One of them is managelitter.com, and you can go into not following back. This is organized chronologically, so these are the most recent people that this account has followed that haven't followed back. So in that case, I would go to the last page. This shows the oldest set, and you can go in and just click on them and follow the process. Who aren't, you go to the saved the unfollows and tell it to remove these accounts. So I'll go into this a little bit more in another video, but I want to show you another. This one is Crowdfire app, and you can come in. All of these platforms allow you to sign in just through Twitter. So you sign in using the Twitter account. You can go in Crowdfire, you go to manage non-followers, and you can organize it by recent unfollowers, so people who followed you and then unfollowed you recently. And you can come in and basically just click on, unfollow everybody who's not following you back. Now these accounts, most of them give you only a certain number. As you can see, when I try to do this, I get a little message that says I've reached my unfollow limit. That's because this Crowdfire app is where I'm not paying for a subscription to it, and so it literally probably only gives me 5 or 10. Looks like about 10. Unfollow, I have found, allows me about 100 people that I can unfollow a day. That's ideal. You want to follow and unfollow about 100 a day, and that is an average. So if you skip days, you can do more. If you only go in and do it a couple times a week, you can do more on those days. Unfollowing, you can't do that so much unless you're paying for a subscription or you have a lot of different tools that you have signed up for. And that's one of the reasons why I have several tools, is because maybe I won't do that every day. If this video helped you or was informative, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see or have questions on any other videos you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments. Thanks. Have a great day.